Good morning and welcome to Kramer's Corner with a daily technical update. It is Friday the 16th of May. This is an educational video only. There is no recommendation or advice whatsoever intended doing this. It's only to demonstrate how I try to read the market using charts and technical analysis. Today we'll have a look at the defense ETF listed in London. And when the US one pushed to new all-time highs yesterday, especially lifted by Boeing, the European ones has been lacking a little bit, but of course also been propelled higher. And I think maybe we could see it taking out the previous all-time high here from about a few days ago or earlier this week. And we could see a new all-time high. There's no divergence on the RSI. This RSI here is higher than all these peaks here, indicating likely higher levels. So there is, it supports new all-time high. And where to? Well, it's not about target really, but if we try to guesstimate a little bit, maybe in the region of 54 level could be seen. But as long as we stay above 49.80, then we are in a bullish trend. Medium term, there's divergence building up, but if we get a new all-time high, possibly also a new all-time high here on the RSI, could indicate further higher levels on the the defense ETF. So let's see about that, despite having tripled, quadrupled or something like that in the past year and a half or so. Moving on to the US market. Well, S&P 500 closed above its resistance here, 5,905 yesterday. Let's see what it was on the weekly. Yes, we are also pushing high there. The RSI, there's no divergence, indicating we could push higher in the coming weeks. So it looks fairly strong to me for now, as long as we stay above 5,783. Pre-market unchanged. Nasdaq got rejected at resistance at 21,454, but pre-market, well, it's unchanged really. And maybe we could have a little bit of a correction before next push higher. The Dow Jones Index opened in this gap area here, but managed to close above the 200 and also above the 100. So we can see the moving average is starting to turn around here. Positive sentiment on the RSI, indicating we could see a push on the Dow Jones Index to higher levels, and if it closes above 42,518, well, then we are likely to push higher and close this gap here above 43,000. Hang Seng still below resistance here at 23,673. Taking a little breather, could take another breather in early week next week. It really needs to close above 23,711. Then uptrend will resume. There's some minor divergence here, as you can see that the RSI is lower here than here, but market moved higher, so we're taking a little bit of a setback there, it seems, but still a bullish trend. In Europe, we had Euro stocks that closed a little bit higher, but there's no divergence on the positive RSI, so I think we will see it pushing higher in the coming days and weeks here. Pre-market basically unchanged. DAX index, another strong day yesterday, new all-time high close. And what I will do if I was trading this, then I would put my stop right there, because if it takes out 23,338, then we could see it testing 23,000, maybe dipping down to 22,818. But for now, a fairly strong uptrend, maybe building a little bit of divergence, but for now, trust the trend, and I think we could push a little bit higher here. Pre-market, we are pushing exactly a little bit higher. Euro dollar, well, still caught in this range here between 110.50 and 112.65.70. I was always add a little bit If it takes out to the upside, then we are looking at 113.80, possibly higher, and to the downside, we're looking at 109.10 area. The sterling dollar keeps bouncing a little bit. Can it take out the 134.45.50? If it can, then the uptrend has resumed. If it takes out the low there at 131.40, well, then we're looking at 130 level possibly. The euro sterling finding some support here above the 100 moving average and the 786 retracement at 84, and that's the support it should keep if it wants to have a chance to start bouncing here. The 55 moving average trying to drag it higher a little bit, the 100 moving giving some support, and also 200 down here. However, if it starts drifting lower, well, then there is not really much support until around 83.15. Dollar yen, well, dollar yen keeps sliding lower. Did it yesterday, continuing today. I think we will test the 61.8 retracement, 144.77 here fairly shortly. Could also dip down to the 786 at 143.70, and then maybe a little bit of a bounce, but the 55 moving average is above it, and all the other moving averages also declining. So I think we'll keep declining a little bit further in this correction phase here. Euro yen, well, it got rejected here at 165, setting back, could set back to around 162, where the 55 moving average will come up and give some support. We also have the 200 slowly rising here, so expect a bounce from around that area. Aussie yen, well, Aussie yen still keeps itself above the falling trend line here. At the moment, dip below, could still dip below to support here just around 92. We both have the 61.8 retracement of this move there, and we have the 38.2 of this uptrend there, more or less at the same place, at the same level. So expect maybe that could be tested. If it dips to there, then I think we'll see a bounce back. And the sterling yen, let's remove this one. Very close to the 61.8 retracement, 192.65. It could be tested, but positive sentiment, no divergence on the RSI, indicating we're likely to see high levels after this correction, where it catches the 55 moving average coming up, and the 200 they will give some support. Then expect a bounce. Aussie dollar, well, still trading sideways here, so I will more or less give it 63.40 minor support, but 55 and 200 or 100 it is moving average coming up. They're giving some support, but the 100 is the 200 is weighing on it, so we could be range bound here for quite some time in the region between 63.5 and 65. Dollar Canada. Dollar Canada, support at 139. If it takes out that, well, then we could see a setback down to around 138, possibly lower to 137.5. The sterling Canada really testing for the third day in a row, 186. We need a close above. Maybe if it takes out the peak from yesterday, that will do it and push it higher towards 188. EURSWISS, well, it's dancing around the 61.8 retracement, trying to dip to the 786. Could still do it, but in the bigger picture, it is basically range bound. It is a little bit of correction here. If it takes out 92, 95 here, the lows here, then expect it drifting lower towards 92.25. But I think we will be caught range bound between, we see the 100 moving average here and 55, kind of putting a lid on it. So the upside potential is really tough. It really needs to close above 94.25, and that seems to be a bit of a struggle. So caught range bound here, I think, for the foreseeable future. The dollar Swiss, after only getting a little bit more than 50% of this downtrend here, testing support here at 83.35. Once again, it did it there. So let's see what it will do. Will it slide further back? What we can also do, maybe to give an idea and say, okay, it's moved from this to this, and 38.2 is also around where we are dancing at the moment. We could dip down to 82.58, which is 61.8 retracement. Finally, the dollar index, where it got rejected here a few days ago, or last week actually, at the 101.80 to 61.8 retracement. You have the 55 moving average coming down, you have the 100 coming down, and the 200 also, and maybe sometime next week, we'll at least take a week before the 100 crosses below the 200 moving average. So it's not really a bullish sign. It seems more like we do have a correction phase going on in a bearish trend, and we can also add a trend line, merely a guideline a little bit. So will it test that? So I think it will break a lower here. Also still negative sentiment on the RSI, no divergence actually. This low here is also the low here, so I think we'll see dollar index declining further here going into next week. Gold, strong bounce yesterday from dipping below the 55 moving average, didn't touch the lower rising trend line. Really strong bounce during the session to the 38.2 retracement. Could it bounce further up to the 61.8 retracement at 33.15? Possibly, but we can establish that we had a lower high there compared to here, and now a lower low. So we actually technically are in a downtrend, not confirmed on the RSI. So let's see if it takes out the lows from yesterday at 3,120. Then we could possibly have the RSI below 40 threshold, which will further confirm a downtrend. But we are now in a correction phase from this sell-off here. The 55 moving average giving some support, so it's still rising, but it's definitely under pressure. But let's see here the next couple of today and going into next week, what it will do. These are the levels to watch out for at least. And on silver, still in this range here between 31.65 and 33.70, so not really much to talk about, to be honest. Copper, well, still trying to get below the 100 moving average, but it's rising and it's bouncing every single time, so it seems to be boxed in here between 480 and 450 to the downside, and maybe even 460 here. It's also a little bit of a struggle, especially the 100 moving average. Negative sentiment on the RSI actually, so it is indicating we could see lower levels, but I want to see it take out that spike down there at 447.75 for that to happen. So, and there's still some really strong supports in the 440 area. So I think there's a bit of a floor down here between 440 and 450. WTI crude oil that lost steam on the bounce here, didn't get up to the 64.87 peak here. Setting back 38.2. If it takes out the lows from yesterday, expect to sell off down to 58.58. However, if it does close above 64.87, then we have a double bottom pattern in place. That's why there's a question mark. But for now, it is still struggling, and we have a lower low, lower high for now. So maybe we'll get a new lower low in the coming weeks, but keep an eye on these levels there. The 55 coming down, putting a pressure on it, also the other moving averages. So I don't think we'll see a bottom pattern unfold and be confirmed. More or less the same picture on Brent. 786, we're trading to 66.48. Got rejected around that level, and also dipped to the 38.2 here. If it takes out the lows from yesterday, expect to move down to 61.8, we're trading to 61.67, maybe lower. European natural gas still this 35.85, basically 36. That is a struggle, and to the downside 34 needs to break out of this or close about, because it actually dipped or spiked a little bit above a couple of times, but seems to be fairly calm at the moment, but it could be calm before the next really big move. Could be up to the 38.2 euros, or down and take out the lows there and push towards 30 euros. The US nat gas, well, after being rejected here at the 55 moving average, testing 50% of this uptrend here, I think we'll see it sliding back to 3.25 with 61.8 retracement and this minor support here. Still negative sentiment on the RSI, could take it lower, but the 100 moving average coming up, adding a little bit to the support. 10-year US Treasury yields rejected just below the resistance at 455. Formed actually a bearish engulfing here. I think we could set it back maybe all the way down to 61.8 retracement at 428, where we have the 55 moving average coming up, also adding to the support. Positive sentiment on the RSI, indicating we are likely to see high levels, and if it pushes above 455, then I expect a push up to 465. The 2-year, well, also setting back a little bit, and we can also add a little bit of 51 action to this one and say, okay, what are we looking at here? Possibly down to the 382. On the European yields, we had a setback yesterday, continuing this morning. Oops, sorry about that. After hitting 270, didn't get all the way up to very close to this horizontal line. Let's add a horizontal line so we can actually see where it is, right there, just below it. Setting back now below the 38.2 retracement, 260, could dip to 254, and then I think we'll see a bounce again. So this seems to be a big range. It's stuck in between here, between 244, 243, and 270. On the UK, 10-year got rejected at 786, retracement at 472, setting back here, and I think could set maybe back a little bit to 460. Bitcoin, well, range bound 100,835 and 105,788 is the range it needs to break out of for either a new all-time high or further set back down to around and below 100,000, down to 98,000 possibly. Ethereum, well, also dancing sideways here. There is potential up to 2,900, maybe just above 3,000, 3,067. Support here in the region around 2350. All right, that's all for today. Have a nice day and a great weekend when you get to that. Talk to you again later.